Our government will look to the Supreme Court of Canada's decision, and we are confident that the price on pollution is within federal jurisdiction. For too long, there has been too much pollution in Canada because it has been free to pollute. That is why our government put a price on carbon pollution, which is ensuring cleaner air, fewer emissions, driving innovation, and putting more money in people's pockets through the Climate Action Incentive Payment. This year, a family of 4 in Alberta will receive $888 when they file their income tax return for 2019. It is more important than ever for provinces and the federal government to work together on climate action, to provide business certainty and to achieve our commitments to reduce pollution. While we would prefer to work with provinces outside of the court, we have no choice but to defend practical climate action in court. Canada is well positioned to be a leader in responsible development if governments can reach agreement around climate policy. We remain committed to working with all jurisdictions and all sectors to protect the environment. Fighting climate change is a priority for all Canadians, and our government is committed to moving forward with all Canadians, including the interveners who participated in this case, from doctors to youth to economists to Indigenous peoples, to ensure a more sustainable planet for our kids and our grandkids. It is time for politicians of all political stripes to stop fighting climate action and start fighting climate change. La décision rendue aujourd'hui par la Cour d'appel de l'Alberta est une étape dans le processus. Les cours d'appel de l'Ontario et du Saskatchewan ont toutes deux déterminé que le plan fédéral visant à mettre un prix sur la pollution est constitutionnel. Le gouvernement du Canada se penchera sur la décision de la Cour suprême du Canada et nous sommes convaincus que le prix de la pollution relève de la compétence fédérale. Pendant trop longtemps, il y a eu trop de pollution au Canada parce qu'il était gratuit de polluer. C'est pourquoi notre gouvernement met un prix sur la pollution au carbone en assurant un air plus propre. Moins d'émissions et plus d'argent dans les poches des gens grâce au paiement de l'incitatif à agir pour le climat. À compter du début de l'année, une famille de 4 personnes en Alberta recevra $888 lorsqu'elle produira sa déclaration de revenus pour 2019. Il est plus important que jamais que les provinces et les gouvernements fédéraux collaborent dans le domaine de l'action climatique afin de procurer une certitude aux entreprises et de respecter nos engagements en matière de réduction de la pollution. Bien que nous préférons travailler avec les provinces à l'extérieur des tribunaux, nous n'avons pas le choix de défendre les actions climatiques concrètes en tribunal. Le Canada est bien placé pour être un leader en matière de développement responsable si les gouvernements parviennent à un accord sur la politique climatique. Nous restons déterminés à travailler avec toutes les juridictions et tous les secteurs pour protéger l'environnement. La lutte contre le changement climatique est une priorité pour tous les Canadiens. Et le gouvernement est déterminé à aller de l'avant avec tous les Canadiens, y compris les intervenants qui ont participé dans ce dossier, des médecins aux jeunes, en passant par les économistes et les peuples autochtones, pour garantir une planète plus durable à nos enfants et à nos petits-enfants. Il est temps pour les politiciens de toute allégeance d'arrêter de lutter contre l'action climatique et de commencer à lutter contre le changement climatique.
Saying that all governments need to work together, federal and provincial, but doesn't this decision give Alberta reason to say, well, the federal government's not acting fairly here, you're infringing on provincial rights?
Well, I would say, first of all, 2 courts have upheld the federal position with respect to the constitutionality of this. This was a step in the process today. We look forward to the Supreme Court opining on the issue of jurisdiction. But I would simply tell you that a price on pollution is the most efficient way to reduce emissions. I do find it odd that Conservative politicians who profess to be believers in the market are opposed to a market mechanism and somehow are more interested in regulating reductions in greenhouse gas emissions. So I would say we need to work together, but we need to do it in thoughtful ways, in ways that are efficient, that are affordable for Canadians, and one of those ways is the price on pollution.
The court's notion that this is an infringement on provincial jurisdiction.
Can you say that again?
What do you say to the court's declaration that this is an infringement upon provincial jurisdiction?
Certainly, we respect the rulings of all courts in this country. But I would tell you that the courts in Saskatchewan disagreed, the courts in Ontario disagreed, and we look forward to the Supreme Court, which is the ultimate arbiter of issues around differing interpretations of jurisdiction, to be making the ultimate determination in March. We feel confident that the federal position will be upheld.
Are you worried that by not listening to Alberta's court, it will lead to more Western grievances?
I think that, Canadians, irrespective of where they live, are interested in strong climate action. People recognize this isn't a political issue, this is a science issue. I mean, the science on climate change is very, very clear. And in order to meet the targets that Canadians know, that the science tells us we need to meet, we need to take a number of different steps. One of those, the most efficient way, is through a price on pollution. I think that we need to ensure that we are working together. I certainly intend to be continuing to have conversations with my counterparts in Alberta and Saskatchewan on these and other issues. But, I mean, it's also true that that's what the market is telling us. I mean, the investment community is telling us that they are looking to us to make progress with respect to climate change. Listen to the CEO of BlackRock. I mean, listen to the
resounding show that, the federal government is in the right on this.
So I'm not a lawyer. I will simply tell you that our view in terms of the ruling is that we remain confident that our arguments will succeed. Obviously, that is a decision for the judges. It is not a decision for me as a politician. But we remain confident that it is within federal jurisdiction. What is
in question period today, Calgary MP Ron Liepert called out and heckled you and said that's BS, but he used the full term, the barnyard chant. And the speaker didn't fully take him to task. What's your view of things with that?
I honestly think that it is incumbent on politicians of all political stripes, and there's guilt on all sides of this House, and certainly guilt on the parts of different provincial actors, to dial down the level of rhetoric and animosity. I think that Canadians actually expect us to try to be finding pathways to civil discussions, even in areas that we don't agree. So I wouldn't do it, but and I don't think it helps the conversations that happen in the House. But I think the Speaker dealt with it.
What is your plan B if the Supreme Court rules against the government?
I'm not going to speculate about what the plan B is. As I said, I think we remain confident that our arguments are sound. Our view is that we will ultimately, our arguments will be accepted, and we will proceed forward as is outlined in the Pan-Canadian Framework.
When you come out with your new emission targets plan?
We committed during the campaign to two important climate targets. One was to exceed the 2030 targets, and one was to achieve net zero by 2050. The 2050, there will be a public process where people will be engaged and sectors will be engaged in defining those pathways. In terms of 2030, we have committed to go back to Glasgow, to the next COP, with an updated NDC. And so we are in the process of developing options, and we will be obviously discussing those with Cabinet over the coming months.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.